Welcome back to my channel where creativity has no limits. I am Anil Ferron aka Mr. Ferron and you are watching Artisticity. So as you guys already know, today I'm gonna show you guys how to make a simple logo intro in Blender. This is a Blender tutorial for beginners. If you guys want to download the blend file of this project, then you can download it from my Patreon. Link to my Patreon will be in the description. Also, if you are new to this channel, then do subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates. So let's dive in the tutorial. So we are now in Blender. Go ahead and delete the default cube, pressing X and delete. You can also go ahead and delete the light. We don't need it. Next, we need to input our logo. So how do we do that? You need to go to File, Import, Scalable Vector Graphics. Click on that. And you need to browse where you have saved your SVG logo file. I have saved on my desktop. Here it is, Artisticity logo, import. And as you can see in the outline over here, it is imported as a curve. Right here it is very small. Click on it, scale to make it bigger, click to confirm. So now right click on it and set the origin to center of mass. So that will set the origin to the center right here. And now what we do is we press Shift S and get the selection to cursor, and that gets the selection to the center of the world origin. Next, we need some geometry for this flat logo. So what do we do is we go over here in the object data properties where the icon is a curvy line. Yes, click on it, and under geometry increase the extrude, and that will give some geometry to your flat logo. Let's make this logo a bit longer. That is what I prefer. Next, we need to add the name of the logo by going to File, Import, and import SVG. Do not import SVG as grease pencil. Import SVG. Go to Desktop, Font, Import, and that will be imported. As you can see in the outline, it is all on the center of the world origin. Toggle on the gizmo, get it right over here. So the name of the logo is imported. Scale and drag the mouse to increase the size. Click to confirm. So as you all can see in the outline over here, all are separate curves to be exact. So what we have to do is click or select all the curves and press Ctrl J to make them one, or Ctrl J to combine them. Now right click and set origin to center of mass. And now we will extrude like how we did the extrusion for the logo. So in the extrude we did a 0.9 meters for the logo, and for the font we'll do the same. Again, this is kind of too big, so that is good. And now we need a ground, so let's input a plane. So Shift A to add a mesh and add a plane. We'll take this plane right below our logos, as to scale, and drag the mouse to increase the scale. So there we have it. Most of the job is finished right here. Just we need to give it a materials. Go to the corner over here of the window, and when the plus sign shows, click and drag to the left. Click and drag to the left to open a new window. I will turn off the show overlays of this window so I can focus only on the material. So these logos are black because we have imported it as SVG. We can change the black color to white by changing it here. I can leave it as black as per your preference. It's up to you. You can make it any color, white, green, blue. Feel free, go crazy. So next I will turn on to rendered mode, and currently we are in EV rendering engine. So turn on ambient occlusion, distance, increase distance by at least 2 meters. Turn on screen space reflections. Next we will give it an HDRI. So how do we do that? You have to go to the left corner in the editor type, click on the editor type, go to shade editor. Here this is to the right. From object changes to world, and in here shift A, click on search, ENV environment texture, and connect the color to color, and this will turn purple because there is no HDRI. So open the environment texture, and you need to browse where you have saved your environments texture. So I have saved it on my desktop and the environments. You can download HDRIs from hdrihaven.com. Link will be in the description. So I am using this HDRI Venice Sunset. You can use any HDRI you want. And voila, HDRI is in place. So this HDRI will help us light up our scene. Next we need to assign material to the ground. So click on the ground, go to object. If you go to the material properties, click on the material properties and click new, and this will give it a principal BSDF to the ground. And here we can change the color. I will change the color to dark like black, decrease the specular sheen tint as well. I want to play with the roughness of the ground material, so what I'll do is I'll press Shift A to add a noise texture and noise texture and plug it into the roughness. And I want to make this noise texture black and white and more intense, so we will add Shift A COL color ramp to the noise texture, and this will add a color ramp. And to view a node, you need to press Ctrl Shift and click on the node. So as you can see, there is some noise in the texture. To make this more intense, you need to slide the color black and white to make it more intense. Basically the black is the shiny part and the white is the rough part in the roughness. So we need to increase the scale, increase the details. You can play with this texture depending on your preferences. So that is how I like it. We need to view the principal BSDF by pressing Ctrl Shift and click on the BSDF. So now you can see there is roughness, but let's give it some bump to it. How do we do that? It's by pressing Shift A, click, type BUM, bump, plug the normal to the normal, and plug the color of the color ramp to the height. And now as you can see, there is texture to the ground. Let me just play with the color ramp a bit. So that is how I prefer it to be. Control S to save. So let us save it as anti-arrow intro logo. Save. If you guys want to download this blend file, then you can download it from my Patreon. Link will be in the description. Next, I want to give the same material to the logos. So how do we do that? So now we are in the material properties of the ground. So you see the down arrow over here, click on it, copy material, click on the logo, click on the down arrow and paste material, and that will give the same material, and that will copy the material to our logo. I need a white material for that, so in the base color over here, change it to white, and that will have the bump, but the color will change, and that's what we want. I will just move this a bit up right there, make this logo a bit bigger. That is fine. This texture looks like it is corroded or eroded, and I like that. Looks like an ancient stone carving. I want this corrosion a bit less, so I will play with the sliders of this. Okay, that is how I like it. Press Ctrl S to save. And now I will give the same material to the font of the logo. So by clicking on the logo in the material properties, the down arrow, copy material, click on the font, click on the down arrow. Let me just adjust the texture as per my preference. Okay, so that is how I like it. Ctrl S to save. If you guys want to make this look sci-fi, then we can plug the color to the emission, and that will give the emission shader all to the cracks. And now we can change the color of the emission of the light. And if you click the plus sign, then you can add another light between the textures, which acts kind of a rim light, green fading to blue, just like that. If you change the rendering engine to cycles, and I will just play with the noise texture because it is too much of emission. That is more like it. Control S to save. Only if you guys want to make this a bit more sci-fi techy look, and then you can just go to the material properties, copy the material, and then paste it to the logo, and this will change. And that's how it's gonna look after rendering. So undo everything. We will just go with the plain corrosion look, no emission. Control S to save. And now let us set up our camera. So toggle the camera view, and now we can go to the editor type and click on 3D viewport. Click on the camera, and in the object properties, click on it. In the location, click on x-axis, press 0, click on y-axis, press 0, z-axis 0, press enter. And in the rotation, 0, z 0. And if you get this camera on top, this will face the logo vertically. So that is where I want the logo to be. You can adjust this as per your preference. Control S to save. We need to adjust the logo a bit so that it looks kind of neat. Click on the logo font and rotate it in x-axis. So press R to rotate and in the x-axis, and you need to adjust it right where it looks straight and neat. Click to confirm. Also do it with the logo. R to rotate on x-axis. So R to rotate, press X to rotate on the x-axis. That is where I like it. Click to confirm, and I will just adjust the camera. Okay, drag the timeline to view it more better, and now we need to give it keyframes to animate the camera. So in the timeline window, click on view and click on show seconds, and this will give you the exact seconds of your animation. Next, click on output properties and change the frame rate to 30 frames per second. In the output, click on desktop and you can name it whatever you want. You can get this blend file on the Patreon, link will be in the description. Change the file format from PNG to FFmpeg video, and coding from Matroska to MPEG-4. Leave the video codec to H.264, medium quality to perceptually lossless, good to real time for fast rendering. When that is done, if you guys have noticed, this was 24 frames per second. So the time changes when you change the frames per second. So now this animation timeline is above 10 seconds. So when you change it to 30 frames per second, this changes to 8 seconds. So be careful of that. We need to change it to 10 seconds, the end frame, that is 300 frames. Control S to save. Next, for the animation, let's keyframe the camera at about 7 seconds in the animation, and meaning in 7 seconds of the animation I want the exact frame of the logo. So in the object properties of the camera, in the location of the object, right click the mouse and click on insert keyframes, not single keyframes but keyframes, and that will give a keyframe on each axis X, Y and Z. So now jump onto the first frame of the object by clicking on this button, jump to the endpoint, and that will get the cursor to the first frame of the animation. And you need to get the camera down where you want to start it. I want to get the camera in between the S, so you need to go down in between the S, in between the S. Right down there. Right click on the location and insert keyframes, and if you play this, the camera will animate. But there is a problem, this goes inside the geometry. That's because we had tilted the font logo. We can fix it by giving it some keyframes. So right over here, drag the camera right in the middle of the S. and give it a keyframe over here. Insert keyframes. I will also give a keyframe here as well, right over there. Right click, insert keyframes, and that will give it a keyframe. And this now goes right on top, revealing the logo. And from there, I want to get it down on the logo just for the transition purpose. Jump to the endpoint and get the camera right in the middle of the logo, right over there. Right click, insert keyframes, and when you play this animation, that is how it will look. Boom. We're gonna fine tune and adjust the animation later. So as you all have seen in my intro, the camera turns a bit while revealing the logo. So what you all can do is, in the rotation right over here, right click on the Z rotation and click on insert single keyframe, and now go to the beginning right over here, and you can just give it some rotation on the Z axis, and then right click and insert single keyframe. And now when you play it, it gives a nice reveal. And you all can do the same for the ending of your intro. So from here I want to twist the camera. So on the timeline, on Z rotation, right click, insert single keyframe, and here you can just rotate and then right click, insert single keyframe. And what that will do is rotate the ending. You can rotate the camera in any of your preferred direction, it's up to you. So let's play this animation once again. Nice. So now here in the ending part, I want the video to end very quick. So for that we need to play with the graph editor. So here in the editor type, click on graph editor. Click down the object transform. And here in the Z location of the camera, this is where the animation happens. So it goes smoothly, it comes smoothly down. Please excuse the noise in the background, those are my annoying chickens. So what we're going to do is we'll click on the keyframe over here, and we will get this curve to the right, and we'll click on the keyframe over here and get this curve to the right as well. So this animation becomes very quick. So when I play this, that is a bit faster. So this goes up very smoothly and then comes down very quick, boom, like that. So that is how I want it. I'll just get it to the right more. So that is the maximum, I suppose. Logo reveal and then boom. Cool. That is how I like it. Control S to save. And then we will be rendering this logo animation in cycles. So change the rendering engine to cycles, because cycles gives you more realistic renders. In denoise, click on render, and if you have a GPU, click on optics. We have already done the output settings in the output properties. In the render, give it a 150 rendering samples or 200, it is up to you. More rendering samples means more time to render, enter. And then in the render tab, click on render, render, animation, and then the render will start. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, then do like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates from Artisticity. Also check out the description area for any interesting links. If you guys want to download the blend file of this project, then you can download it from my Patreon. Link to my Patreon is in the description. That is all for today. See you guys in my next video. Until then, stay creative.